What's up, cats and dogs of all ages? Drastic here with a tutorial for you guys on how to do some color correction in Final Cut Pro 10. The reason why I'm doing this is because I really haven't seen a lot of tutorials out there on YouTube of how to do really any type of effects in Final Cut Pro 10, not Final Cut Pro 7, but 10. Because 10 is the newest version, just came out a couple weeks ago, and I really haven't seen a lot of stuff out there. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do a basic color correction for your clips in Final Cut 10. So here we go. Just open up your Final Cut, and we'll get started. Here is 10. This is version 10, remember, not 7. So, here, let me delete that. So I already have my clip in here. It's just a little quality. It's just a COD 4 clip. Let me just mute my speakers real quick. Okay, so it's just a COD 4 clip, and it's it's a good clip, but you always need a good color correction for your clips to make them look even better. So the first thing you're going to do is click on the effects tab right here, or the adjustments tab on your clip, located at the top left, right there, and then click color adjustments. There you can either just mess with the color correction from right there. This is how you get just the normal color correction and just the saturation, exposure, and just color right there. And that's how you're going to do the basic color correction. But first off, we're going to want to go to your video effects by clicking the tabs right here, right by the camera. It's going to have the video, and that's going to have all the effects right there. And then you're going to want to go down to keying right here under the video effects. After that, you're going to want to click keyer and then drag it over to your clip. Alright, so now since we have keyer in, let me open it up real quick, or let me just drop it down. Keyer is going to make it so, here, you can see right here, the normal clip is, it's kind of like greenish a little bit, and doesn't really look very good. It's kind of like plain and pukish, looks really bad. And keyer kind of puts a warm feeling, like it's a warm adjustment. It adds a little bit more red in there. It makes it look a lot better and takes away the green. See, as right here on the top of the radar right here, here's my teammates, they're black. If you take off the keyer, they're green. See, so it's going to take away the green and add more of a red. And then after that, you're going to want to fill in the holes. Right here, as fill holes, pull that up all the way to 10. And edge, distance, it doesn't really matter. That's not going to do anything because that's with the holes. So, and then spill. The spill you're going to want to put at around, let's see, at around like 45, 50, somewhere around there. So it just looks good for your clip. This is just for this map. It's not for every map you're going to want to do this. So this is just for this. So yeah, but there's what you're going to want to have for the keyer. This is one of the main parts in the color correction. This is what I use. I'm not sure, you can use a bunch of other stuff, but this is what I think looks pretty good for your clip, in COD 4 at least. So just copy and paste, or just pause the video right here. You can just copy these settings. You're going to want to have the view on composite as well. So don't get that mixed up. Composite, make sure you have it on composite. Alright, after you're done with the keyer, put that up there. Go down to the correction 1 and click the arrow to the right. Here's where you're going to want to have your main color correction. This is the main part right here. So on your global color correction, this big circle right here, you're going to want to go over to the yellow and put it up just a tad bit to about 2%. So it just adds a little bit to it. So right there is a global, you're going to want to put it to the yellow just a little bit, to about 2%. Positive 2%. And now, with the shadows, you're going to want to go to the same place, but then, instead of going up into the yellow, bring it down just a little bit, so it's about, let's see, you can go -5 or -6%. So that's going to give it a blue, darkish, it's going to put the shadows a little bit darker, and give it a nice shadowy darken. Like it darkens the shadows pretty much. That's what I'm saying. So there's you're gonna want to go to the yellow and just put it down, or you could go over to the blue and put it up right here. and put it up to about 6 or 7%. It's the same effect, and it's gonna work the same way if you go negative here or positive there. So after that, if I can get on to the midtones, okay. Midtones, you're going to want to put it up into the yellow to about 12%, 13%, somewhere around there. So it just adds a little bit warm, a little bit more of a warmy feel, like a lighter feel to it. So right there, to about, I have it at about 7%. You can bump it up a little bit, but not too much. So it's not too yellow, not too red, and you know what I'm talking about. So after you've done that, now you want to go to the highlights, and the highlights is where you're going to want to go into the blue or negative yellow, you know, either way, and you're just going to want to put them up, put the highlights up to about 20% right there in the blue, just in the middle of the blue. So it gives it's supposed to be highlights, but it makes the shadows a lot darker, and makes it look a lot better. So you don't want to have too much. So about 19 looks good, I guess. Here, we can look at the clip again. If I can find out. Okay, right here. I took off the audio right now, so you can't see the audio. But yeah, that's the clip right there, and that's what it's gonna look like with the added effects we have right now. So here, let me just find a good like part in the clip where it has a bunch of shadows and a bunch right there. That's a good point right there. So that's basically the color correction. That's like I'm showing you, that's the main parts that you're gonna want to have in the color correction. Oh yeah, here we have the saturation as well and the exposure to go through as well. So that's the main color for just the color correction color. So just pause the video right there to see how I did that. Now, over to saturation. You're not going to want to mess with the global. Here's the global saturation. Don't really want to mess with that yet. I usually don't mess with that. I just mess with these, and that's just the same effect pretty much. So right here in the shadows, you're going to want to pull it down. Oh no, not pull it down, but push it up just a bit to about. Let's see. To about 19. Alright, sorry about that. I had to pause it for a second because my mom got home. But anyway, yeah, you're going to want to put the shadows to about 19, and that's going to give it a little bit more saturation up here, as you can see. Watch. If I take it down, look, it just takes all the saturation up, and if you put it up to about 16, it gives it a little bit more saturation. So, after that, move on to the midtones. Now, you can either, if you want to go for a more brighter feel, more like not as depressing, I guess, I don't know, like a lighter, more saturated feel, you can go up. Or if you want to have it a little bit more desaturated, you can go down to about 12%, and that takes away a little bit of the saturation, not too much though. Just about, just kind of the ground and the buildings right here. And that gives it, I think it looks good like that, right there, about 13%. Looks really good. It takes away some of the saturation on the ground and from the buildings, but keeps some there still. Then on the highlights, it really doesn't change too much on the highlights, but you can either bump it up or take it down a little bit. I'm gonna put it up to about 21, and that gives it a little bit more color back to the buildings and stuff, but still makes it still look a little bit less saturated and not too much. Doesn't give it too much saturation. So there's saturation. Now exposure is going to make it either a lot lighter or a lot darker, depending on what you want. So you're not ever going to want to put the shadows up on the exposure. You're usually either going to keep them the same, or put them down to about 1 or 2%, and that's going to give it a lot more shadowy look, as you can see right here. If you put the shadows down just to about 1 or 2, not any lower, because then it'll be hard to see stuff, but like to about 1 or 2, it's going to give it a lot more shadow, and that really helps out. It looks a lot better with that. And now to the midtones. You can either bump it up a bit, but you can just keep it the same, really. It doesn't really matter on midtones on here. But now to the highlights. I'm going to put the highlights up a little bit because I like it a little bit lighter to about right there so you can see things still. Nothing's too dark to see, and you can see everything perfectly fine. And I might just move the midtones down just a bit. To about, no, let's see, -1. It looks good on 0. So yeah, there we go for the midtones, or to the exposure. And yeah, that's pretty much it actually. So I'm just gonna go back to the main effects, and then just undo the chrome keyer. See, if you undo that, it's gonna give it a lot more saturation and give it a lot more greener look. If you take off the chromer or the keyer, then take off the color correction. There it is. That's just the normal clip. Add the keyer, add the color correction, and it looks a lot better. See, right there. So thanks for watching, guys. Please thumbs up, comment, and subscribe if this helped you out, and favorite. A favorite would help a lot too if it really helped you out. But I really just haven't seen a lot of tutorials about Final Cut Pro 10 on YouTube. So if you want more, more editing tutorials, stuff like this for Final Cut, or maybe After Effects, or anything like that, just comment saying so, and I will respond. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next time.